We're back, joined by T and Weekend Wook. How we doing, guys?
Good.
It warms my heart every night to see Skoy in the beginning of that video.
Yes. That was a $40 balloon.
That was a $40 balloon and a $10 tip. I think we left them $5, $10. I can't remember.
Wow.
That was a fun night either way, though. Take me back to Dick's.
It was a fun night. So, what's your overall impression, guys?
Outstanding first set, inconsistent second set. The highs of the second set were remarkable, but there was a lot of jank mixed in between the highs. Overall, I think it was a really good show, though.
Yeah, I think we're still on the path. You still, I think, have night 4, night 3, and everything else. And I think this falls in line with that. But yeah, to Tim's point, if it weren't for a few other things, I mean, they have this thing right now with these first 3 songs in the second set are just these jams that go, and then they're like, they start good and then they get great. And then the third song is like, holy shit balls. What are we, So, and tonight was kind of that example again. So yeah, loving it. Loving this tour.
Yes,
loving the formation. I think it's all the formation, Kev. It's all
yeah,
the line.
It is. Do you think having the extra day off had him miss a step, maybe?
Maybe.
Something was off in the second set. I'm not sure what it was, but there was something off. Fishman too, I think, sadly enough.
Yes. Crowd control. First time in a couple years, 100 and some shows.
Yeah, man. This is the song that I called for like 4 or 5 years. I was the asshole and like, oh, call the opener. And my philosophy was, if you call like Cars, Trucks, Buses or Wilson or something, or like, then even if you're right, you're like more likely to be right, but it's not impressive. But I've caught 2 shows where they've opened with crowd control. So it was like, I know they're not going to, but if you call it, you're going to look like a smart. And tonight, if I had done that, it would have paid out. I didn't think it has a high batting average as far as leading to decent shows. So I think it's not in itself a great song, but bodes well for the set. Typically.
I love the lyric. I think it's a very fun song.
Yeah, it is. I always laugh when it's the opener, though. You're like, oh yeah, we're getting this, but usually it's kind of like a setup song for what's coming or what's next. Usually, it usually has a good drop, or like the following song has a good like it sets up something good, and this was like the perfect example of that, because first set in the 2 slot for a Mike's is
perfect,
fantastic. Perfect.
That's what you got to do. You warmed up, you loosened up with crowd control, got the vocals loosened up, the fingers loosened up. Let's do Mike's.
Averted expectations. You got everybody kind of groaning and like, crowd control. What the fuck? And then they hit Mike's, and it's that much more impactful because it's such a relief to get true fish. And then you're like, all right, here we go.
You're like, now it's starting. Now it begins.
And I think this was a very, very good Mike's, in my opinion. I especially for this early in the show was very tight and was really on point.
And I think the setup for that was listening to Mike over the last couple of days on his Instagram and his social media, saying how happy he was with how they sounded in Pittsburgh and things were going, and the lineup, even being in the new formation, was making things better. And then joking around in Austin
again. He felt part of the family again.
Like, nice to be back in the center again and not on the outside, on the far side. Yeah.
Where's
and
Mike?
It showed, I think, and I think he's been waiting for his, like, a time to really shine, like one of his songs to really, and this is like, I think we all agree, like the best one of his classic, and so
you think Mike asked to be moved? You think like in the off season, he was like, Trey, can I come back? Let me back in the middle, Trey, please.
The impression I got was that the reason that he moved over there in the first place is because of the amps and Trey and having the amps.
And then after the Sphere.
Right. Now that he's moved it, they went back. I think they like that lineup because they can look straight down at anybody,
Right. But the last couple of years, Mike's like never smiles on stage, and like in like interviews and shit, you always get the impression that he wasn't digging it. He was the only one that was like you were worried was going to be a flight risk, and now I think he's having a good time again.
Because he kept being
Right.
like, excuse me, guys, can we maybe like, yeah, we'll get to that, Mike. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Don't worry. And
Look
then
at John took
finally,
my spot. I don't like it.
I want to be back in the sun. I don't like it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but
then-
I mean, this was it. Like, I don't know, the drop in was fantastic, and he was locked in. I felt like so, and I mean, Kev brought this up backstage to me and asked me how I felt about this, with the way they did this, because I always bitch about when it's not a pure Mike's hydrogen pog groove jam. I was okay with this because you can drop into cities and then play the entire set and then come back to it at the end. It's kind of fun, so it's good. I mean, of course, I'd rather have it the other way, especially in that plot. But it's fun to go Mike's cities. I mean, again, you get that funk groove going, and that is right where you kind of want to be with them in the third song of the first set and kind of setting up what's coming. So yeah, great.
I love cities
Nice.
out of a jam too, because they were already in a very patient place
Yeah.
and locked in, and I think that's what gave the little extra swank and feel to the cities. Like right in the beginning, it felt locked in like that. So
Definitely the headline from the first set is just the Mike Cities for
Yeah.
me.
yeah. Well, jam wise, I mean we'll get to it, but the Daniel Saw the Stone one bust out was freaking phenomenal, and the
Right.
taste was great. But yeah,
I mean, I think I think the next two were my favorite two. Like, Divided Sky is top 3 song for me, as we mentioned at halftime. I love it. We talked about like the defining PHiSH song, or what define, like, you know, that to me it's the perfect PHiSH song. I love it so much. And then getting the well right after it, like I mentioned at halftime too. Benji talked about telling the story in the set list and how, you know, you always they try to tell stories and the way they play and whatnot. And I thought this was a pure great story first set, and especially this little part in it with the Divided Sky with the well after it was fit perfectly and told such a wonderful story and was so awesome. Like, we've been wanting a well, especially because we've gotten a little bit of evil fish, a little bit of dark fish throughout this, and we were gunning for it. And that song coming out of that great Divided Sky lift up, and where you are at the end of that, going right into this like happy, I know Tim, you're going to talk about the lyrics here in a second of the well, but that happy, ridiculous, rainbowy, fantastical lyrics to begin that, and then that wonderful jam, and then
There's a blue jay in a rainbow,
right, and then you get that nice blissful awesome tray peaking jam, and then all of a sudden it's the bottom of the well, and it just turns. I love it. So I thought these two songs together was fantastic.
once my caveman dumbass brain remembers that it's the well and what's coming, I like the beginning of the song because of the dichotomy, and I think that the like severe change works really well, and I love it. But every single time without fail that I hear the start of the song, it takes me like 30 seconds to realize what it is, and I'm like, man, this song sucks. Whatever
Like,
this
what the
is,
hell
it
is
sucks.
this?
I'm like, oh, it's the well. Man, the beginning of the well sucks. Although I do think tonight was better because it felt relaxed, it felt loose, right? And we had that realization at halftime, is that a lot of these like dad rocky feel good songs are written very straight. They're straightforward, like, you know, it's a very straight rock beat, it's a very straight guitar beat, and it's hard to like get the feel with it. And I think it suffers because of that. But tonight, for whatever reason, I think it was loose, so that worked. But I did wanted to say real quick too that Divided Sky got me a little bit choked up, and it's not that it was anything happening in my life or even that great of a Divided Sky. It's just such a masterfully written song, and like this divine melody that like every time I hear it without fail, it hits some. It's like my wife when she watches certain movies, like she gets all emotional and shit. It's like I don't do that with books or movies or anything, but I hear that fucking melody and I get all goosebumpy and choked up. It's like something about it.
Yeah, I hear you to completely, and especially the whole last third of that song after the crowd, after the silence part. Once it comes back in, like the rest of that.
How did
through
he
the
fucking
end,
miss that note? What the fuck? He literally had 2 minutes of sitting there to get his fingers lined up. Come on, Trey.
it's too excited. He was cramping. He had finger cramps a couple times tonight, I think.
Yeah.
It's
First it was the
remix.
voice, and now it's the fingers.
Jason, I
the
didn't say it
remix.
was a divine harmonic or chord progression. I said it was a divine melody. I get it's not a ridiculous chord structure, but it's still a phenomenal song. That melody in itself is, I mean, it's incredible.
All right, what are they paying him for? Missing that note. Daniel Saw the Stone continues bust outs. Pittsburgh had a few, and this was people like this song.
What's
People
not to
really dig
like,
it.
dude? The long drawn out note to start with the wah.
It's
And,
all
and
right.
then the fucking vocal, like the back and forth vocal play and everything. God,
I
it's
have other
awesome.
other favorite songs that I would rather hear in that spot. That's all. If they're gonna
It's a
bust some out,
4-minute song. It's not taking away
I
anything
know.
from the
What?
set.
And you do hardly get it. So you can't
It's
be
been,
like,
what,
it's not like one of the
200
ones
some shows.
we typically bitch about, like
Yeah,
Right.
it's
What was it?
This
284
again.
shows. It hasn't been
284
played
shows.
since the fucking
Right.
Baker's dozen, Kev. And you're literally gonna bitch. I don't know. There's
No,
some other
I'm not.
songs I'd rather
I'm
have in
not.
that spot.
I
It
was
says
at all.
once every 53 shows is its average
Right.
right now.
I've
So
seen it twice.
Yeah, but it's
So
been
I think you're good.
287 shows since it was played.
I would rather hear Ginseng Sullivan. That's all. All right, let's move on. I'm quite happy that Taste is has gotten a lot of love lately over the
I don't
past.
know. There's other songs I'd
couple
rather
years.
hear in that spot.
Well, okay. What would you rather hear there?
No, I love Taste. I think it's just really cool writing. I mean, it's like a basic music theory like trope almost, but when Trey does a trope, he just makes it incredible. So, and I think it works really well. It's weird though because I didn't know where they were going to go to get out of the set, and then because it was starting to get late in the set, and Taste is a weird choice for the penultimate song, and then to go into Dirt. Like it was really took me on like a left turn. I was like, I don't know how they're getting out of here. Like this is a weird turn for this set, but it ended up working. I felt
Dirt is such a heavy song, man.
it is.
it is, and those two together there towards the end of the set too. Like you said, like that, it was a weird. It got a little. You're like, how are we ending this? Like you could have definitely probably skipped a week of Pog and gone right to like an Antelope or something to get yourself out of this to really like bring it back, especially because as Kev, you've mentioned many times, Weekapog doesn't throw the same punches it used to. It's
Right.
a little bit less.
It's a little slow. It's gotten older. It doesn't get up as quick in the morning.
Gotten a little dead in code.
Well, why do you think that is though? Because like if you listen to Fishman during Daniel Saw the Stone, he was flying. I mean, the drums on that, and Mike on other things still has the finger, so it's not. It's like a chop thing. Like they can
maybe it's a choice. Maybe they decided after Mexico and they did that slower one to slow it down and just make it more interesting for
Well, it wasn't
them,
as slow as Mexico tonight, but yeah, it hasn't gotten back to where it should be. It's weird.
Yeah.
It is weird.
It's a weird one. Housekeeping.
It's a weird one. If you are watching for the first time, like and subscribe. If you've been watching for a while and you like what we're doing, try to become a member. We did the member hang live for everyone, so you can go see what that's about. This Wednesday coming up, make sure that you tune in to Live at 9 Eastern. We're going to have Scotty B from Jam Base come on. We're going to talk about the first 6 shows. Always interesting. And tomorrow, look for something from Fan Art. Or on Sunday, look for something from Fan Art because we're going to talk to him in the morning and try to promote those Boulder shows a little bit. You got anything, T?
No, we got a few other things coming out. Like we did talk about a little bit at Set Break. Members, we're going to start giving you guys early access to pretty much everything that we release at least 24, 48, 72 hours before it goes public, so you guys can check it out. And then a bunch of exclusive stuff coming out for you guys too. And then join the Discord. Check out the Discord. Go talk to us on the Discord and get in the Hanging with Marvin Discord. And they got a cool little thing going on with the pick 5s thing. They got a little bot.
How are you doing with your pick 5s?
Not great, I can tell you that. Like I thought I'd be doing better. I'll tell you what though, I like the way they're doing the sets versus how I'm picking my picks. So as long as they continue playing the way they are, I'm fine sacrificing the picks I'm picking for that stuff because I keep waiting for certain songs. I'm like, all right, well, cool. Keep not playing that, I guess. So.
like the odds of a simple tomorrow night have gone up exponentially.
Yeah. But I did. I made picks
Simple might
tonight.
be the big one tomorrow.
I made 2 tonight. I hit 2 tonight in the fantasy thing,
Nice.
man. Like, I think according to my thing, I hit 2. Yeah, I'm not great. It's about my average.
I think in the back of my head, I knew that we were going to get a No Man's tonight, and it's a solid opener. It's a big rock and roll song to open, and some interesting places. They reined it in a little early. I feel like that one could have eaten up a lot more real estate if it wanted to.
And it usually does sometimes. Like it really, but these 3, like I said, the 3 opening songs, I feel like all 3 so far, the last few nights, just rage. And it goes from like good to great to wow, where are we? And this one kind of set that up too. I feel like No Man set up the Fuego, which then set up that Golden Age.
Mike, I can't do the fantasy bot because I would destroy all of you guys and it wouldn't be fun anymore. I'm just way too gifted at this whole fish thing, so I'm gonna let you guys do that shit.
That's why he's got this Bengali hat on.
100% wrong about this No Man's because that's not the role it was playing. This was not supposed to be a big, massive type 2, eat up a bunch of the set No Man's. This was a smack you in the face, ripping, roaring guitar, just massive, epic sounding jam. No Man's, and the peak they hit with this, the climaxes that Trey was getting this early in the set was unreal. Like I have a hard time thinking of the last time that they were having those types of climaxes that early in the set. That was the type of climaxes you usually get at the end of the set. So I think the No Man's was perfect. It was everything after the No Man's that really kind of fucked everything up, but the No Man's was great.
I'm going to mute you.
I mean, it's
I'm going to mute you.
You mute me?
Yes. You remember you used to mute me back on the lot in the old days?
Yeah, but that was funny. It's funny when I muted you.
Funny. That's always funny. All right, I was really high on the Fuego, and from what I'm hearing from certain people,
other way.
They did not play it that well.
This guy. This guy. That guy over there.
There you go. That way.
I really like the Fuego. I love that Fuego I feel like Fuego has a really consistent batting average with the interesting jam, the stuff that you don't normally hear. They don't bliss it out. It always gets into some darker spaces.
I think ever since we complained about not getting the full lyrics and getting the Viking Warriors
a couple summers ago, right? 23, yeah.
And they heard that, we've gotten it since then. And that makes the song so much more complete to me. Like it always felt so weird when you didn't get that. And I think that also kind of kicks in that second half of those jams usually. So it's great. And a 23-minute Fuego usually is going to get somewhere and do some things in some of those darker areas. Like you said, Kev, like usually that's one of those songs you can get into those corners for a bit and then come back, and it has a way of doing that. And Trey likes to land that song. That's one of those that he enjoys coming back into to bring back around.
He brought it back 23 minutes later. He started 1 minutes later. He gently went and started playing it really slow, almost like the breakdown of Tweezer used to be.
You can't gloss
over what was your issue, Tim? What was the issue?
You cannot gloss over the fact that they fucked up the song so epically and royally multiple times. Trey missed entrances, PHiSH missed entrances. They came in off beat. The tempo was janky as shit. I mean, I love Fuego, and I agree. They hit it. They brought it back together in the jam. And ironically, one of the things that made this jam so great was the disjointedness of it, right? They leaned into it. He made that like echo effect, and they went off into this like trippy space. And that's what saved them, because when they were trying to play tight, for whatever reason, they couldn't play tight. They couldn't hit entrances and just, execute on beat. So they're like, fuck it, let's just get all spacey with it. And, I mean, I'm not trying to criticize them. Overall, it worked really well. But, like, the beginning of the song was very, very sloppy. And I like that song. I think that song has a lot of potential. It is funny, though. I was thinking, do you think, like, afterwards when they have an epic jam like that, they really regret it being such a good jam because people are going to go back and listen to it because they're going to hear about the jam being awesome, and then they're going to hear all of their mistakes.
The rest of the
Like,
song,
oh,
and be like,
man,
oh my god, it was a rough. It was rough.
We had everybody's going to hear them now because they want to hear the great jam.
Like, it was a rough road to get to that, but all right.
Well, and I feel like it set up perfectly the Golden Age. They went into the
Yeah.
Golden Age. The Golden Age, I guess, for the first half of the jam out of it was pretty standard territory, but then they dove back into that weirder space, and I love that. We got the Plinko and
the computer noises and the beep boop boop beep
bleeps and bloops, the bloops and or bleeps,
bleep bloop. And the lights looked awesome with it, and I mean the complete breakdown, like all over the place with that thing. But then those last, I mean, when it came back and built and came back roaring, I mean those like 4 minutes, 5 minutes at the end were just, I mean, that's like fire hose fish, right? I mean, that's just where you're just like, pour it all over me. Like, this is it. That's all I want. Like,
Greg, I don't disagree with you. The jam lit the fuse, but the song proper of Fuego sucks. Sorry. Yeah, man, I agree with you guys. That Golden Age was ridiculous.
We ended up with the longest one ever. It beat out Vegas by about 25 seconds, I believe. So, yeah, I wouldn't say
I think Vegas still holds the crown. For for Fuegos.
You think so? You think so?
Oh, I think so for sure. You go back that Vegas, yeah, for sure. This one had its moments, but it did not do what that one does. Like that one is a monster.
But this was a really, really good Golden Age, though.
It was. It's right. It's probably the best one since then that you could put in that conversation.
Yeah.
Every night in the second set, it feel like we had the twist, that we had some tweezer that got really dark for the one point, that what's going through your mind had that dark spacey thing. We got that with this Golden Age. So I feel like the second or third song is ending up there on this tour, which is great. Instead of everything being a bliss jam, everything's going to be a dark, disjointed, nasty, filthy sound.
Yeah, and if that's where it's going to be, yeah, it's great.
Hanging out with Gorilla Toss. Hanging out with Gorilla Toss. Trey's like, I'm embracing my indie punk.
We had some good bliss jams in the first set, though. We had a really solid Type 1, like the No Man's. It was almost like a Almonds kind of jam. And then the Golden Age had the dark and symphonic, like sonic, overwhelming jam. So I think I didn't hear all the shows, but tonight was very balanced, I feel like, with the different feels. It wasn't too heavy on anything, I think.
And now we get Kev a Coil in the 4 slot. I mean,
yeah,
kind of.
I thought we were getting a 4-song set, and they were just going to do like a really long encore,
Well, I was really kind of, I was like, wait, where are we in this set? Like, it's early for that. That's odd. You know what I mean? But then you're like, well, it kind of makes sense because it's.
We were at 72 minutes at the end of that Coil. That set went 88 minutes. That would never fit on a 90-minute tape because you'd have to chop that Golden Age in half.
I think Trey wanted to give him and PHiSH a breather because as great as the Golden Age was, on the end of it, they were still not locked in entirely. And I mean, this is probably just wild speculation, but it's almost like he was just like, hey, we got to like reset everything, let Paige do his thing. We could take, a second off and then come back and finish this show.
Well, I think too, because they're in the line now and where they put it, it's they just stood on stage, as opposed to like doing like the old days, like standing there and like watching him and like being there. And I think that, yes, is a different feeling than like walking off and being off to the side and like walking off and then coming back on for the encore or something. Like this was more in that moment. So I think to refresh and get right back into it, like that was probably a good little moment for them and a good kick restart. But I thought it was cool, Kev. I think it goes with being in that formation again, putting Coil in this spot in the middle of the set again, like it used to kind of be way back when.
All right. They never left the stage, Greg. So yeah, it wasn't. They didn't leave the stage. And then I think Trey told his little story after that. Didn't he mention he was from Texas?
Texas and guitar players.
We got the Dimebag Daryl shout out.
Yep.
Oh, I meant to take that down. There we go.
Got it.
Paige is
I
a
like
phenomenal
Coil.
piano player. I don't know if you guys knew this, but
You
into
think?
Coil,
Yeah.
he's pretty good at those keys.
I've always wished that they would take Coil, the outro, and Paige start playing another song, and then the band jumps
Walls
back
of the
in.
Cave, which is an awesome closer to tease it out because it starts with a piano
The
solo.
piano, so yeah.
Right.
The boom, boom, boom.
Well, I always wanted to hear Lamb Lies Down on Broadway because that starts with piano, but that's another
That would
story.
be cool. To have a walls after a Coil. 'Cause
Yeah,
you could
Coil
just drop-
walls to end
Yeah,
the show would be sick, or the set.
With the set, yeah.
Definitely.
But we got Sand and a castrated Sand. I mean, come on. If you're gonna play Sand, I don't know. Give me more Sand. Sand has the potential to just jam.
and it usually does.
Ironically, the person that sounded I felt the best in the Sand was Mike, and usually he gets lost in Sand because he just has the ostinato, but he was adding like little extra like ghost notes, little
Pieces.
pops, and little like do 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 like little extra runs and shit. And it goes back to a conversation we were having before about him being all giddy now and feeling himself and everything. I feel like he was actually given an extra 10, like 110% on this, and everybody else was kind of like, hey, it's just Sand again. We've done this 4,000 times. But I was digging what Mike was doing on it.
Yes, I hear you. And Zero, big rock and roll.
Night.
Oh, I hope they do a Lagrange. That would be fun.
That would be the bust.
When was
out
the
of
last
bust
one
outs.
of them?
It's been a while.
I feel like I've only seen that at Vernon Downs that one year.
It's been a while.
Like 98.
Yeah, Sand Zero to close out the set. I mean, I'm surprised they did Zero. Zero kind of, I thought they'd save for Boulder because the stadium show and Stadium PHiSH, which I mean, it could come back night 3 maybe, but that seems like, I mean, there's a week off and whatnot, but we'll see. I don't know. I always like closing with it. It was an interesting.
Why'd you do that, Kev?
Dude, the he's just been trolling the whole time.
Who gives a fuck? Let the people.
I do. That's who.
He didn't say anything inappropriate. He was.
Uh-oh.
All right, guys.
Kev swings the hammer. So we get a nice Life Beyond the Dream encore, which I don't know. I hate when it lives there. Like, at least you're getting a second song, possibly a third song, which I think you deserve if you get that. But I don't know. They
didn't earn it. If this sounds so pompous and fucked up, but if they had like killed the second set and like just nailed it, and like everybody was like picking their face up off the floor, then yeah, you do a Light Beyond the Dream. But like the ups and downs of the set and the limping out with the short Sand and the quick Zero, it's like I don't think they earned the Beyond the Dream in the encore.
No, I don't know. It wasn't my favorite encore of both songs. So I felt like the first two had a rough start to it as well. It got going and did its thing like it always does because it's a great ender, but it was just a rough both songs. Like I don't know. Life Beyond the Dream. Yeah, Trey loves it, so I get it, but I'd rather have it somewhere in the second set and get it over with in there instead of in that encore spot. And then to go drop into first two, but not have it rip right off the start and really get you going and kind of like have a weird sound start to it. I don't know. It just didn't. At least it ended high, and it was an awesome second set overall and a great show overall and a really fun first set. So I mean, 5 night 5, we're show 5, right? Yeah. So still batting 1,000.
Life Beyond a Dream is a really well-written song. I just don't want to hear it. It's depressing. I know it's one of those songs that's a problem for me because I know what it's about. Like Miss You, I know it's about his sister who died, and I'm like, right. God, that's so heavy. Why am I? This is about his buddy who died. It's really a heavy thing.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't hate it. I just it didn't work for me tonight.
Trey loves First Tube. So good for him. Let him have his first tubes.
He does.
All the first tubes.
Moment.
All right. We'll be members. We'll be back for the set break hang tomorrow, and we'll be back after the show. What's up, Skinny?
Skinny.
Which I guess will be Sunday on the East Coast.
Younglings.
Yes.
What?
I'm gonna be
Sunday
thinking
on
about Mike's comment all night, trying to tell if it's a compliment or an insult. It's vague enough that it's gonna just keep me up at night.
I didn't see what it was.
No, it's all right. Don't mock him. I'm sure it was a compliment. Like it started off strong. He's like, "You look great," but then I'm like, "You could tell I'm raising kids." I'm like, I don't know.
Because he could see the gray.
It's the
gray
aging,
in the
right?
beard.
Exactly. It's aging you.
Gotta be the gray in the beard.
Has to be
Gotta be the gray. It's gotta be the gray. I don't know. Have fun tomorrow night, guys. I will miss you. Don't forget to get your fit picks in on the Marvin channel, though, if you're doing it, because that's what's killing me is missing the night. So get them in.
All right.
Enjoy
Thanks
the show.
for watching.